call Anna to lead the prayer. The name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, now please go to your proper seats. Remember our rules. Those who are not in their proper seats will be considered absent. Now bring out your assignments and we will check. Mr. President, please collect all your assignments and pass it in front. Now I have here a picture, and what do you have seen in this? Yes, this is a plant. And what do you think that causes a plant to grow? And what are the causes to plant? The plant is to die. Yes. And how about the plant? How does plant propagate or reproduce? Yes, it is about the life cycle. And that is what we are going to study for today's lesson. About the life cycle of a plant, animals, and humans. But before we start to tackle our new lesson, we are going to review our topic yesterday. And what is our topic yesterday? Yes, Bianca? Correct. That is about the different kinds of plants. And what are those kind of plants? Yes, Jomar? Correct. The terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. And terrestrial plants are the plants that are grown in the land. And while the aquatic plants are the plants that are grown in aquatic environment. Okay, for today's lesson, the life cycle of humans, plants, and animals, we are going to start with the life cycle of a plant. How does a plant grow? And how does a plant propagate? Okay. Now we have here a chart, the life cycle of a plant. A plant can grow from the seed. When water is added to the seed, it swells and the seed bursts open. And first, the young root appears. Next, because of the sunlight, the skin is split and the shoot straightens, pulling the cotyledons with it. Remember the word cotyledon, children. Next is the main roots get bigger and grows, side roots, and the first leaves appear. Next is leaves will grow on the stem and stretch forward towards the light. The fruit is the part of the plant that is eaten. And then next is a new seed grows that will produce new plants the following year. So as we see, how do plants grow? Now all living things are made up of tiny cells which can only be seen with a microscope. The cells in plants grow by becoming larger and multiplying. When this happens, the stem tip is pushed upwards and the root tip is pushed downwards. This makes the plant grow at the tip of the stem as well as the bottom of the root. Now, we are all known that plants are very important. Whom do you know the benefits we can gather from the plants? Yes, Melanie? Correct. Plants can give us fruits and foods. Plants can give us crops every year. And there are many more things that plants can give us, especially the air we breathe. So now we are tackle about the life cycle of a plant. Now we are going to tackle about the life cycle of an animal. We will discuss about the complete and incomplete metamorphosis. So we first go to the incomplete metamorphosis, and the example of that is the life cycle of a frog, which is have only 3 stages. This is the egg, the tadpole, and the adult frog. First, the eggs. The female frog lays cluster of eggs in or near the water. second is the eggs will become a tadpole. Tiny tadpoles hatch from the eggs. Tadpoles swim in fresh water and breathe with gills. At 8 weeks, a tadpole grows. It develops legs. At 12 weeks, the tadpole becomes a froglet. It has 4 legs, breathes with lungs, and loses its tail. And lastly is the adult frog. After about 3 months, the tadpoles have become young frogs. They can live in or out of water and eat insects or worms. Now we are going to tackle about the complete metamorphosis. When we are going to identify the complete metamorphosis, it has 4 stages. And the best example is the life cycle of a butterfly. From egg to larva or caterpillar, and the pupa or the chrysalis, and the adult butterfly. In the egg stage, the female butterfly lays an egg on a plant. Larva stage, the egg hatches as the larva or the caterpillar comes out. Pupa stage, the caterpillar feeds on the plant and grows. When its skin becomes too small, the old skin splits open and the caterpillar pops out with a new skin on. This happens 4 or 5 times. When the caterpillar is fully grown, it makes a little silk pad on a leaf or twig and attach itself to it. The caterpillar's skin splits for the last time. It is now in the pupa stage. Under the skin, in the chrysalis, many changes happen to the chrysalis. The wings, legs, and rest of the butterfly are formed inside the chrysalis. And the last stage is the adult stage. The last stage when the chrysalis splits and the butterfly comes out. So that is the life cycle of an animal. We have the complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Now the last part of our lesson is about the human life cycle. So, human life cycle is about us. We people also face changes in our life as we grow. So, human life cycle starts human life cycle starts before birth, or the sperm and the egg cells match, and that was become the fetus. And next stage is the baby, in where baby is a very dependent to the parent or the caretaker. Now, next is the child stage. The childhood stage is developing their skills, and they can go to school and have their studies. And the next stage is the young person or adolescence. In this stage, they can they can they can be matured, and puberty is the critical change in this human life cycle, because puberty are the changes that comes our our into our life cycle, like the changes of hormones, like um, growing and changing of voice, like that. And lastly is the adult stage, in where a woman and a man can have again a baby, and that is how human life cycle our environment and for what we have. Now